So this is 2.7% of change. And we did parts of this in some of your classes and parts not in some of your classes. So I just want to make sure and have this video available for you so that you can catch up if we didn't get to this, but also so that you can review if you need to. Okay, so 2.7 was over the lesson objectives were to find the percent of change and to solve problems with percent of change. Most of the classes, we skipped this review, this warm-up, but we got to here. We talked about how to turn 79 into the actual fraction. So you put 79 over 100. We also talked about that with B. 45% is 45 over 100, which is 9 over 20. And then C and D are the weird ones. Still put it over 100, 105 over 100. And you end up with 21 over 20 when you divide the top and the bottom by 5. D was really weird though, because think about what we're doing. We're putting 45 over 100 in this case. We're just taking that percentage and we're putting it straight on top of that fraction bar. So for 0.5 we put it on top of the fraction bar, but the fraction bar, we usually don't have decimals on the top. So what we do is we move the decimal over one position, but if we move a decimal over one position there, we do the same thing there, and you get 5 over 1,000. If you want to check this and make sure that it's right, then you can go to a calculator and put in 1 divided by 200. And when you do that, you're going to get 0.005. So to turn any decimal into a percent, you've got to move the decimal place over 2 spots, and that's where it ends up. So it's 0.5%. Okay, so now we're to the newer stuff. Percent over 100 equals part over whole, and percent over 100 equals is over of, these equations over here. Whoops. You might have seen this before in your other classes, in your other schools. This is the way I like to look at it also. So think of these things. These ratios are the common ratios that you use when you want to convert is over of to percent. So for the first one, 40% is of 30 is what number? So 40% is 40 over 100. And we're going to use the is over of, so I'll write this over here. Percent over 100 equals is over of. So the of word has 30 behind it, so that goes in the bottom, because that's where the of goes in the proportion. Is what number? We don't know, so we put an X up there. So now to solve this, we're going to cross multiply. You could reduce first if you want to, but I'm just going to cross multiply. You get 1200 equals 100x, then divide by 100 on both sides, and you would end up with just x equals 12. Okay, on B, 67.5 is 75% of what number? Do the same thing. 75 over 100 is the fraction form of 75%. 67.5. We have to decide is that is or of. Well, they're asking of what number. So the of portion of this one is going to be x. And then the is portion is going to be 67.5. So again, you cross multiply and divide. I'm not going to finish this one just so I can make sure and fit everything on this video. But you would cross multiply and then you would divide again. The other one, 42 out of 70 students, so their family had pets. The other proportion is percent over 100 equals part over whole. So to set this one up, you do x over 100, because that's what we're trying to find. This time 42 is the part, and 70 is the whole. So again, I'm going to leave this one for you to recognize. You have to cross multiply and divide to solve for x. Okay, percent increase, percent decrease. This one, if you just remember, it's going to be the difference over the original. Okay, let me move this. Equals, is going to equal percent over 100. So if you always remember that, then you'll do okay. But when we have to figure out whether it's an increase or decrease just from two numbers, what we need to look at is we need to look at the difference between the new and the original to tell us whether if it's increase. So we do new number minus the original. And if it's positive, that's an increase. If it's negative, that's a decrease. So for this one, the original is 32, the new is 40. So using that order, the new is 40. The original is 32. That will equal 8. That's positive, so that's an increase. So for this next one, the original is 20, the new is 4, so we do the new minus the original. You get negative 16, so that would be a decrease. Now that we know those numbers, all we're going to do is we're going to do the difference over the original. So the original is where we started. There's another I. Equals percent over 100. So the difference is 8. The original is 32. And that equals x over 100. So when we cross multiply and divide, you get 800 equals 32x. And then when you divide that, you end up with x equals 25. So remember, this is the percent that you want here. So this gave us the percent. It's 25%. So the percent change is 25%. It's not going to be 2,500%. So you're not doing anything with the decimal. Okay, so this one, you've got 16 over the original is 20 is x over 100. So you end up with 1600 equals 20x. Divide by 20 and you end up with x equal to 80. So this is 80% decrease. So you always have to tell if it's a decrease or an increase for problems like this. Okay, just remember it's the difference between the two numbers over the original. And usually we put new minus original. Okay, so there's another example. If you want to practice that one, you can, but we're going to go to this one. The price a used bookstore pays to buy a book is $5. So this one would be our original price. The store sells the book for 28% above the price it pays for the book. So far all we know about our original proportion, which is the difference over the original, equals x, the percent over 100. Clean that up a bit. All we know about this right now is that 28 over 100 goes here. And we also know that the original is $5. Well, the difference for this, I'm going to use the letter X for the new price. So I'm going to call that X. X is the selling price of the book. I know I can do X minus 5. And it doesn't matter which way you do this. I mean, you could do new minus original and just stick to that. Usually that works best. But for things like this, just do what you can with the difference up there. So now X minus 5 times 100 will equal then 5 times 28. 5 times 28 is 140. Over here this becomes 100x minus 500. Add 500 to both sides. So I'll move this up here. So this is 100x equals, where'd it go? 140, so 640. Divide both sides by 100, and x equals 6.4. So we have to think this is $6.40 is the new book price for the selling price. And then always check to make sure it makes sense. It says it's a selling price, so they're going to mark it for 20% above, so it should be bigger, and that's right, $6.40 selling price, so it was an increase. If you ever end up with the wrong negative or positive, just go back and look at your words and make sure that you got an increase as positive and a decrease as negative. Or you can just write the words decrease. Okay, so for this one, at one store the price of a pair of jeans is $26. At another store the same price of jeans has a price that's 22% higher. So here's our $26. That's the original. So we're going to put that on the bottom. We know that 22 over 100 goes here. And we know that we're going to have x minus 26 to be the difference between the new price and the original. So to cross multiply this, you go like that, and then 26 times 22. And I'm going to leave that one for you to solve, just to say you can do that, because we're going to go to the next one. The next one is sales tax. If I want to figure out sales tax on something and you pay for a meal, your meal is going to be the cost of the meal plus your tax. And that'll equal the total. So for this one, I want to figure out the sales tax. Well, sales tax you can figure out by doing 32.75 and multiplying it times 0.05. And I got that because the decimal version of this, well, fraction is 5 over 100, and the decimal is 0.05 for that fraction. So if I figure out just the sales tax on this, and I'm going to do this quickly because I'm running out of time on my video here, times 0.05 equals $1.6375 for sales tax. So you take your original cost and you add the sales tax. And if I add those together, you end up with $34.39. So sales tax is an addition. If you had to figure out discount on these, discount's going to be the cost minus the discount. So you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to start with 380 and you're going to subtract from this 380 times 0.2, and that will equal a total cost. So this portion is a discount. You can do these separately or you can do it together. We'll practice some more on this when you get back, when we look over your work. But try your work, try your book work, and make sure that you can do it. Here's another one with a discount. Discount is minus, sales tax is a plus. Really, if you can remember that, you can do both of these. All right, good luck, and I'll see you the next time I see you.